I think our healthcare outcomes are probably among the best in the world.
I feel proud saying India defines the world, then the world standards applicable to India. That's a matter of pride, no doubt. Healthcare, trustworthy, go hand in hand. This is not a subject where you'll be willing to play it down for so much money I give for so much quality. Is not the conversation. This is about getting the workforce to do what they do best, and the mundane part of it simplify so that they can excel at what they can do.
Wow. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Healthcare India podcast. Today we have a very special guest. He's not a guest, he's a very good friend. Incidentally, my daughter was commenting that she asked me, she saw this and she asked me, how long have you known Arvind? I said, I've known him for about 15 years. He says, that's longer than what you've known me. I said, you're only 9. But
there's more to say than we can say in public domain.
But it's great to have you here, Arvind.
Thank you, Vikram.
And Arvind is the Chief Technology Officer of Asia Healthcare Holdings. And he's also the chair of the HIMSS Asia Pacific Advisory Board.
Yes.
And I believe, Arvind, you're the only Indian on that board, right?
Yes.
And for those of you who don't know, HIMSS is the most prestigious healthcare technology organization in the world. And HIMSS standards are standards by which technology of most hospitals are governed by.
It's kind of the gold standard for digital health.
Great. So it's fantastic to have you here. And today we're going to talk a lot about technology and healthcare and how technology is affecting healthcare, how healthcare is affecting technology. But before we start, you have a very unique role, right? You've been on both sides of the fence. Previous stint at Apollo, where you were the group CIO for almost 13 years. Then the product company, which you built the product at Karkinos. But this is a very different role from all of those. Yes. This is Asia Healthcare Holdings. So just give us a sense, what does Asia Healthcare Holdings does? The name may not be familiar, but what it does is very, very familiar to all of us.
So thank you, Vikram, again for having me here. Asia Healthcare Holdings is the holding company of single specialty healthcare providers. The brands that we hold are Motherhood, which is women, child, obstetric, gynecology, pediatrics, fertility. Nova Fertility, which exclusively deals with fertility only. Asian Institute of Nephrology and Urology, again single specialty nephrology and urology care. So we are into single specialty hospitals, which is different from a multi-specialty hospital and a sense of the others thing that I have experienced in my career. And Asia Healthcare Holding is the holding company of this. So we manage all these companies. So it's yes, different. But if you look at it, when you get your hands wet, you start getting into dealing with day-to-day and dealing with day-to-day with a reasonably strategic focus, so that the day-to-day doesn't cloud you with what you should think, and overall how we can improve the delivery of healthcare, the availability of healthcare in meaningful economic terms to the target population at a time when they need it, at a thought when they need it, at the quality that they always expect.
Wow.
Because you can't, this is not a subject where you'll be willing to play it down for so much money I give for so much quality. Is not the conversation. This is not shopping in a crowded street corner shop. The excitement of that is very unique, no doubt. but healthcare cannot be compared with it. So there is quality that you have to deal with at speed of thought, at speed of expectation, and without losing any aspect of clinical outcomes that are best of class in the world. It's not about what is available locally or something. And again, today, I feel proud saying India defines the world, then the world standards applicable to India. That's a matter of pride, no doubt. But everybody expects nothing short of the best. How do we ensure that that happens? Yes, we are in a unique single specialty business, and a lot of single specialty healthcare is being sought after. It's niche, and it caters for a specific diagnosis pattern or a health need pattern.
Correct.
And that's kind of what we do at AHH.
Brilliant. But I will agree with you. And this is what I've been telling to a lot of our audience everywhere. I think our healthcare outcomes are probably among the best in the world. If not the best, it's at the world standard. The only problem we have to solve for is scaling that to cover the entire country, right?
Correct.
My understanding is correct, right?
Correct. See, I think our healthcare outcomes are defining world standards. That means they are competing to be the best or somewhere in the zone of the best. Our cost of achieving those outcomes are significantly low, which is a good thing because it matches the paying economy of the average population.
Understood.
That means now we are talking about accessibility. What I think we need to consistently work towards is, one, bringing it to scale so that it can be as affordable to as many on the planet as possible. The second is the consistency and the sustainability of it. Is it the same outcome that we can guarantee 24/7, 365? I think today we are not yet there, but we are capable of being there. All our data is showing that we are able to achieve it, but have we achieved it? And when we say we have achieved it, I think we are not yet there. We need to go there. Capability exists today. The scale sustainability does not yet.
Understood.
Even in India itself, we see this. Even in tier 1 cities, you will start having pockets of excellence. How can that be uniform? How can how can excellence in delivery of healthcare become the DNA of the serving population? We need to go there. We are not yet there. That is what all of us are aspiring towards. I think that's the journey we need to, sprint towards. I won't say walk or aspire to. I think we need to sprint towards
it.
We need to take a rocket and reach there faster than speed of sound.
Great. So, a lot of the people who listen to us, who listen to the podcast, a lot of them are entrepreneurs or are working in the healthcare technology space. And one of the questions I keep getting asked, and I thought I'll put it to you because you're in a unique position from running the hospital as a technology leader to building a product, and today when you're in a holding company. So when an investment firm evaluates a hospital group, any hospital group, are there any specific technology capabilities that influence that decision? Say that influence EBITDA multiples, as we commonly call it, while doing valuation. And why is that the case? Because I'm always curious, how important is that? And then why is that the case?
I'll consciously want to not call out a private equity. The reason for that is private equity is infusing capital into any organization and thereby is looking for profitability.
Right.
But if you keep that aspect slightly away, anybody, irrespective of the holding, that means whether it's the public sector or the private sector, in healthcare is infusing capital into it. So even if you call for, let us say, a government hospital being built, the government is infusing a capital, so government is a sort of a PE.
Correct.
Okay. If it is a trust-based organization based on certain religious congregations and they fund a hospital, which is also a common practice.
Correct.
They are also a PE.
Correct.
Okay. And what are they all looking for? Profitability.
Right.
What happens to the profit, whether it goes to the shareholders or the investors or gets circled back into the ecosystem, is how you are using the profit. But the concept is the same. It is not like somebody is randomly paying for it and there is sting capital that is like an Akshaya Patra where there is no bottom, it keeps flowing. It is not the case. It needs to be used appropriately, and thereby the investments that we make have to generate towards that.
Okay.
So technologies that you're looking at, you can break it into two parts: the medical technology and the information technology. And why I'm purposely calling it out, because today the line between medical technology and information technology is so thin and non-existent. Earlier they were a clear distinction.
Right.
Medical was separate, information was separate. Today there is no line and it's kind of completely joined into a single lane.
Right.
So you start looking at technologies that generate efficiency, generate outcome. When you generate efficiency, that means you are able to do more with a quantum. I'm not saying do more with less, but do more with a quantum. That means you are getting into the zones of operational excellence.
Understood.
In medical technologies, you are trying to do something where clinical outcomes can be consistently guaranteed and negative outcomes are eliminated. That means that infection is eliminated or reduced to the extent, length of stay is reduced to a required minimum only, secondary complications are reduced. That is our medical outcome. So technologies that help do that, medical technologies that help do that. This is how you're looking at investment, because both of them are going to drive a certain consumption pattern. So if I may say so, crowds will come because it's efficient, because it's clinically excellent. So operational excellence is done, clinical excellence. And now the combination of this technology allows us to do financial excellence. So that means I'm not going to call it frugal, but it is finance put in the right place to drive the same outcome so that you are not bleeding money.
Understood.
And thereby profitability and the multiplies of money. Then the combination of all of this is going to lead to service excellence. That means the consumer is feeling delighted with the service he is getting. The experience, the aura, and the outcomes. Sometimes it's not just the experience, but the outcomes.
Outcomes also.
Okay, fine. Yeah, I had to put up with certain things, but ultimately I got cured. I got this thing. You are willing to forgive a lot of things. So the outcomes are good.
Correct.
And at the same time, the experience, because we are all used to good experience in the retail, hospitality, all the other sectors that are today front, right, and center, you are expecting that if you are paying for something, you are getting the right treatment for it.
Correct.
Okay, so you are looking at technologies that are contributing to these 4 pillars of excellence.
Okay.
And that is what a person is evaluating for, because those are going to be the business enablers that get to driving the business towards a healthy financial state.
Excellent. So
profits, yes, it is called profit, but it is profits in the right direction for the right investment, because they need to sting and people need to see the outcome. So that's why I kind of kept out the PE part. If you see, this is the concept that everybody should be doing.
correct.
See, tomorrow if there's a government hospital set up and the government hospital is doing bad, the government will be left with no option but shutting it down because it's bleeding. So again, you're going back to the same principles of discipline, rigor, and governance and what it does.
So what are those 4 areas you said? Operational excellence,
Clinical excellence, financial excellence, and service excellence.
Service excellence,
so
which is customer experience.
You call them the pillars of excellence. Technologies that enable this, because they are enabling it, they are treating all the practitioners who are going to consume it to deliver those excellence in real terms.
Understood.
So you are changing the culture of an organization, the culture of the workforce to be tuned to delivering the excellence by consuming. So you are looking at investing in such like enablers.
And that is what adds to multiples.
That is what adds to multiples, because when you do all of this, the combination of which starts saving money and generating money. Combinations of which is basically profit, EBITDA, so on and so forth. And now, depending on private or public, what happens to the rotation of the profits is financial in nature. I'm not going to sting, but this is the model for any investment into healthcare. And this is what the consumer is expecting also. Nobody is expecting free and, pardon my words, third rate. People are saying, hey, look, if there is a cost of it, we are willing to pay, but guarantee outcomes.
Correct.
That is what people want, the outcomes.
So that brings me to another question, Arvind. This is, so how do investors, because I'm putting you also in that category, because you will be evaluating so many organizations. How do they differentiate between hygiene technologies, which is standard, and valuation accelerating technologies? That means some are, table stakes, should be there,
correct,
for whatever reason. And anything that accelerates a valuation, how do they distinguish between the two from a technology perspective?
See, good investing organizations don't overplay valuation. They look for sustainability and consistency.
Okay.
So that means the way you framed it as hygiene technologies and valuation technologies. In fact, what I would say is, I would put it as hygiene technologies that are running the organization, hygiene technologies that are growing the organization. The combination of which is valuation technology. There is nothing like a separate valuation technology. So, to be putting it bluntly, you can't have showcase projects that don't add to the day-to-day delivery of care and the day-to-day effective running of the organization.
True.
You don't have any of that. So if you're just looking at showcase for show off sake, to gather the, raise the eyebrows of this thing, it's a short time thing
Or
before
to get
the
PR,
bluff.
or they get PR.
It's a PR initiative. It's a short term before the bluff is called, because it is not going to deliver the thing. So you look at technologies, hygiene technologies that are running the business, hygiene technologies that are growing the business. This combination, because again, I'm going back to the 4 pillars: operational, clinical, service, and financial, where you are saving money or making money. In some cases, you are also protecting your money with good governance.
Good governance, right.
That combination of which tells that, hey, this is value. This value is consistent. This value is going to act in multiples and has the capability of gathering the corresponding clientele in huge multiples. That is your valuation, because you are seeing that this is trustworthy. First, trustworthy. Healthcare, trustworthy go hand in hand. That itself is the biggest aspect of valuation.
Trust is more important than branding.
Then the consistency of it. That means that rainy day or non-rainy day, this will run. It's not going to fall off. It's not working on the mood of season. This is over time. Thereby, it is going to get the attention of the various stakeholders. Various stakeholders as in patients, no doubt, good doctors, good medical professional, good employees who will want to. So this is like, why do you want to join the company? Because it is a company that I aspire to associate with.
Correct.
So it's a good place to work type thing, right? And everybody wants to join. So that means you're going to get good quality of employees of all stakeholders, not limited to doctors and nurses. Everything comes together. So that means that again, you're with all these good people, your, if I may say so, your goodness is multiplying.
Your valuation is also multiplying.
That is your valuation,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
This is how you're going to put it. It's about running and growing the business consistently, and thereby staying, and not just showcase one-offs that have a short duration shelf life, and after which they are of no use, or they don't take care of the multiple scenarios that we could be dealing with, and thereby it is not, it's seasonal and not a all year annuity thing.
So example would be investing in a good HIS, for example.
Correct.
It is not cool.
There's nothing great about it.
Nothing
it's
great.
not harm, but it's going to deliver consistently
On both your hygiene as well as
growing.
growth.
So the organizations can start developing innovative work processes
Around the HIS.
around the HISs, around the EMRs, around the digital solutions that are built as satellite solutions for the HIS EMR. Now they can start building innovative models of engagement that couple operational and clinical care, that get in effective financial models, and thereby the combination of which is service. So you can be innovative around it, you can disrupt the market, but it is built on that not very cool investment that has nothing great to speak about, but it is the backbone.
Unfortunately, that's what I'm seeing. The core things, they're not very cool. But if you do it consistently, it adds so much value than cool stuff.
Cool is is a temporary delight. I don't know, I'm sorry to say if I'm sounding very philosophical. I don't want to be called a Baba or a Swami at the end of this. But what is cool, but see, again, in healthcare, we are dealing with a life.
There's nothing cool about it.
And the coolness is all about ensuring 25 by 8. Not 24 by 7.
25 by
25 by 8. That means beyond consistency, proven consistency, you're dealing with a life. The guarantee of it. And why am I saying guarantee of it? In healthcare, there is only one person who can give guarantee. That is God.
I know.
If we have figured it out, then we are God. Which we all aspire to be. Okay, sometimes we think we are also, but that is the level to which you are going. So as much as you are getting to that surety of it, that means that our ability to provide it is so streamlined and effective and efficient. Taking in account the humans who are working in the process, who are capable of making mistakes, who are capable of inefficiency, and who are not at the same level of knowledge. Knowledge disparity is indeed there. Not everybody is equally smart, efficient, intelligent, or capable.
Correct.
It is reality of talent. All these are the realities of constraints. Despite that, if we are able to reach to this level of guaranteeing, that is the coolness.
That is a coolness.
Coolness is not about using, I did AI, I did ML, I did quantum, I did mobility.
My favorite topic nowadays, AI in hospitals.
AI in hospitals. Have we made it quantum based and it is there. All these are tools and techniques that will contribute.
But the core has to be this.
But if you're saying that is the sole winner, let's be brutally honest, then we should have already invested in it and done it here.
Why are we struggling with it?
You know it is cool, then put all your money into it and make the magic happen.
And you know it doesn't work.
So
you've had so many examples.
So it is all about me. It is not about isolated. An isolated example of a HIS failing an organization, hundreds. An isolated example of HIS EMR being cost prohibitive, hundreds. Isolated examples of not being friendly to the providers, the practitioners, several. But having said that, yes, these are all problems. They have to be acknowledged. And we have to design for it.
Correct.
So the coolness is in the design, and the design as an entity that is baked into the system and not as something that is put as a layer of style over it.
Correct.
So that is...
And investors see through all this, right?
Investors, because if they see through, they'll necessarily see through it because they are looking at, in all seasons will it be there? For how many years will I see this? See, this is like, if I can go back to buying a laptop or a desktop, you are looking at a logical shelf life of 5 to 7 years. Yeah, somebody in technology will say 3 years, but let's be honest, we want to suck the juice out of it.
Right. Of any asset, right? For that
It
matter.
is an
You
asset
have to sweat
sweating.
You have to sweat
It's
the
an
asset.
asset sweating.
Yeah.
And you want to do the best out of it without compromising efficiency. You can't say, I will run it for 7 years, but 7th year will be an inefficient year. That means you're not running it.
Right. So that 25 bar 8 has to come in sweating the asset
All the time,
also.
every time. That is the coolness of the investment, and investors will want to see through it, because why will they want their name associated with inefficiency that is leading to a lapse in the quality of life that is ultimately delivered to a consumer who is a patient.
Understood.
And if it's a deteriorated or a diminished quality of life that we are delivering, that is not what you signed up for.
Correct.
Why will you want your name associated with such, like, if I may now call it, bad practice?
Even your capital, right?
Capital, yes.
You're throwing bad capital.
Bad capital against, so it's a bad practice. Why will you want anybody's name? Now again, I'm going back to, forget the PE once again. Let's take the government now. Why will the government want its name associated with this bad story? Providing bad stuff. So if I consider the government to be this big-sized PE, Why will they want it?
Ah.
Nobody wants to do
What's
it.
in it for them?
Why will they want to associate their name with delivering poor care but calling something existent? Nobody will want their name associated because they are following outcomes. In this case, let's say elections, re-election, anti-incumbency effects and all that. All that will be there.
Correct.
So if you consider him to be a big P, you consider a religious institution that is funding a trust for this. In the name of God, why will you do it? Religious institution, I'm saying, irrespective of the religion. In the name of God, why will you do it? So, or somebody doing a charity in memory of somebody, why will they want to remember somebody, honor the memory of somebody by giving a charitable donation for doing something nice and deliver third-rate outcomes? Why will you want to? So you notice all of them are investors who want to see through that consistency, because in healthcare you have signed up for delivering quality of life. And if you are going to see, that is the threat that any investor will not want to undergo, and thereby invest in tools, invest in people, invest in technologies that is able to generate that this thing. And consistently, if I may call this a battery on charge on the move. So every year you are running, you become more and more mature and you get more and more charged. So self-charge, if I may call them self-charging batteries, that is what you want to do. That is how a PE will want to execute.
That's a great point. I love that. Self-charging battery. Earlier you said, when you were talking before the podcast, you said adding to the DNA or removing from the DNA.
Yeah.
So these are all, I mean, when you put your investor hat on, which clearly you have on for a while now. So it's clearly, I think there's a big gap. This is my brutal assessment.
I think
there's a big gap between what investors are looking for and what a lot of the entrepreneurs are building, hoping to partner with a hospital.
Correct.
And the hospital in turn is...
What is it consuming? And
correct.
Each is, I think we are still a 3-circle Venn diagram with overlaps, but we should be all the 3 circles actually completely concentric and this thing, correct, congruent is correct. What we should look. We are looking for similarity today. We should go for congruence.
Correct. Great point. I think that I will write that down. So if you go slightly deeper into this, right, no doubt this is far more critical than any other industry. Now, what are when you do health due diligence, right, which you often did, I think you've done a lot of due diligence over your years. So what are the most common technology related risks that have come up in your experience, and how do they affect the deal outcomes? Like, if you had to draw a correlation between the risk and the outcome.
Typically what you look at is, like again, this thing from our earlier conversation, not about the coolness of it, but is it supportable? What is its end of life? These are technology risks. How effective is it to kind of be participative in changing business processes? So it's a great solution supporting a business process. The world of technology is changing, so changes will happen. The world of business is changing, business process re-engineering is happening. But if your technology is going to be stagnant and not capable of aligning to that change for a logical period of time, which is your investment period, correct, that is the risk that you're looking at. So you can't get into frequent refresh cycles because it's costly. Forget temporarily the cost. The implementation is a time-consuming thing.
And it's disruptive, right? Because
yes.
It disrupts your operations.
So when are you going to get the ROI? You're always implementing.
Correct.
You're always chasing the next. When are you going to consume what you did and show outcomes? If the organization is using an AI, can the algorithm change? So let's take examples, small examples from last about 15 years. Flu, swine flu, H1N1, then COVID, avatars of, if again not clinically talking, so medical professionals will have to pardon me on this thing, but avatars of flu. Your algorithms are changing.
Correct.
So the next flu shot that is going to get developed is a mixture of all these variants of flus.
Correct.
That is how you should be looking at it, right?
Correct.
So how can you can't say that, okay, now I've got to go back and do a complete research and come out with a new vaccine.
Correct.
Then when are you seeing the value?
Correct.
So similarly, technology. How can technology actually be part of business process reengineering in a changing phase? We in technology love to say, you gave the signed off requirement, I delivered to a signed off requirement. That's a static point in time. Indeed, true. We all signed off. You can take me to court on it. I did sign off. You will find my signature. But the business process has changed. So we have to go for that change, even though there is a so-called sign-off. So is the technology able to align to such changes?
Correct.
Is it able to align to the changing pattern of stakeholders? The changing usability patterns and the changing expectations around usability convenience. Is it aligning towards the changing models of governance? All of this technology has to be able to, align towards. It has to be hand in hand. It has to be it can't be a separate entity.
No, it can't run by itself.
Yeah, it has to mix with it.
Correct.
It has to be fully ingrained into it. And if technology is going to be, then it starts becoming an irritant for business.
Correct. Correct.
And that is where you see the friction between business and the technology people. People will say business is not listening. Business will say technology is not working. You are at perennial war with each other, and each is not having good respect for the other person. That is of no use. The technology exists for solving business problems. Business problems are evolving.
It is not static.
It is not static. So technology has to align to it. It is not business using technology, it is technology aligning to business. So you can't put a square peg in a round hole and say, make a fitment happen.
This is very, I feel a deja vu. 2018, I had the same conversation, not in the healthcare context, with the then chairperson, Ms. Bhattacharya, of SBI, Arundhati Bhattacharya. And the video is still on YouTube, I think. And I asked her what is the biggest risk of technology. And they had just launched YONO that time, the first YONO.
Correct.
Right? And she told me the biggest risk is operational risk for me.
Correct.
Whatever I'm doing today, I'm not able to do it just because I've implemented technology. Now, in 2018, she had the thought like that. And when I listen to you, it is like a moment of deja vu. Because
this is the DNA that is, you're changing the DNA of things. See, look at the bank as it existed in, let us say, 2005, 2010, 15, 20, and what the bank is today. DNAs have changed, and it's a considerable mixture, amalgamation of operational and technology. No bank has succeeded merely by implementing a technology, and no bank has succeeded merely by tightening operational process.
It has a combination, and we have to learn from that.
So technologies, when you're evaluating technologies, you have to look at whether technology is able to align towards a changing to a reasonable extent. Again, give it shelf life. You can't say I evaluated mainframe technology, it has to run for the next 30 years. Mainframe technology only is not there. Now you are saying it has to run for 30 years. That's unfair. So be reasonable on the life of technology and look at its alignment and bring it together.
That is the biggest risk you see. All the others are very minor compared
based on that, you get into governance, quality, talent, support, costs. All that is there. But first you have to address the basics first. Once it is there, then we will say, for this, what is the cost? For this, what is the resource? Then you start aligning towards that. Each comes with its own fair share of risks.
But what is interesting, Arvind, and all that you're mentioning is very integral to the organization. From a risk perspective, right? You're not talking about somebody hacking into the. That is. I think we have some inverted view on the risk also.
See, first you have to figure out from inside out we are stable and resilient.
Right.
then you ensure that from the outside in we are resilient also. Yes, there are bad people trying to do bad things for an organization from outside. Okay, whether it is cyber related thing or outside people scheming against an organization to bring it down.
Correct.
Some sort of an external threat. Terrorism, so on and so forth.
Right.
Earthquake, flood, natural disasters, and all. That is outside. So you have to be resilient outside in. But now, when you are looking at investing in technology, first you are looking at resilience inside out.
Inside out.
You're building an organization that is interesting enough for somebody to spoil from outside.
Correct. So
Only an interesting organization somebody will want to disrupt, and nobody will want to disrupt a useless organization. Why will he scheme on your organization?
you have to be profitable at least.
There has to be some interest for them to attack you. You have no interest in that, so you have to.
If I take this to healthcare, now you're like I can draw a direct correlation. Two things you said, which hit me from a clinical point of view. One is you have the whole discussion around immunity, right?
Yes.
Acquired immunity, innate immunity, your genetic immunity, So it is all inside out.
Yes.
And then you can take supplements or whatever. But
then you find out what your body can do, and on top of it, what extra steps you need to take. But inside, you need to demonstrate that immunity.
correct.
And you have to demonstrate the body structure and build construct for that immunity. So that as a body, you are constituted. Merely a great immunity is not a great body. The entire body has to be there. So you have to be active, you have to be healthy, your muscles and your bones should be fine, your internal structure should be fine in terms of the blood flow, the gases in the body. All of that coming together is internal resilience. That internal resilience translates to immunity and all that. That is what you are looking at. So you're looking at building an organization resilient inside out. And in parallel, you have to see, you can't be oblivious to the external world.
Correct.
So this is not a choosing this or that, but merely structuring for resilience for external threats is not going to add value because there is nothing internal to protect. Do you have any crown jewels? Nothing. If you're a pauper and you've taken a huge insurance, for what? You're a pauper. You have no assets in the house. You have no assets in the house. Why did you take one mega insurance to protect what against what?
So for these people listening in, especially entrepreneurs who are building, the core is build something of value that will evolve with times
and will add to the delivery excellence of healthcare in real terms to real stakeholders. Stakeholder not limited to patient.
All stakeholders, doctors included. Because
not limited to patient. It's not just that the only stakeholder is the patient. Patient is a very important stakeholder in the ecosystem of healthcare, but not singled out as the only stakeholder.
So, slightly, we'll go further deeper. This is totally, whatever you're saying is very, very counter to what perception is. And I agree with you on most points. In your experience over the years, whatever, last 20 years, 25 years you've been in this field, which are the digital investments, in your opinion, or technology investments? I know digital is one way of saying it, have created the strongest linkage between clinical experience or clinical outcomes and enterprise value?
See,
I think one we discussed, HIS is we
if you
spoke
look
about.
at it, the biggest investment that I've seen add value is those where we are able to generate a better experience. So I'll call it the UI UX in a manner. Okay, because the ease of usability generates clinical value. How it generates clinical value? Clinicians use it. They find it worthy to be used, and they find it as a ready reckoner from their erstwhile world of paper and mental memory. Right? So that UI UX of convenience. That UI UX of convenience now comes in multiple avatars. Whether it is mobility technology, I put it in a mobile friendly way. And I give you analytics, I give you point of care insights. So those are there. But ultimately it is leading to UI UX, in which you are looking at mobility or analytics or learnt models. Learnt models in healthcare is very important because evidence-based healthcare is, we have sense Sushruta and Chartaka.
Correct.
So that is what is there. So Dhanvantri is literally all about evidence-based algorithms for
medicine.
consistent delivery, right?
Correct.
So since whatever that time, at least 2025 years minimum.
We are using that. Yeah.
So you are looking at all of that to be added. So these are the various technologies. And that technology that deals with a degree of surety. That is what you're looking at, your storage, your infrastructure and all that, with a layer of protection on network security, privacy. But essentially you look at it, it is defining the UI UX. So technologies around that are the ones that create the best bond between the technology and the consumer of the technology, patient, provider, or other members of the ecosystem. That is kind of where I've seen the best friendship, because I want something and I'm getting something. I want something more. The more I use, I ask for more. So you always have the dil mange more effect. But it is solving a problem. You seem to have understood where I have struggled and you have tried to solve that problem. Now that we are here, can we go to the next level of maturity? So it starts becoming a partnership of maturity. But I appreciate that you understood my problem and you tried to solve my problem. Though your solution is not fully mature.
Correct.
And it's not reached all my, let's say, 7 levels of maturity. But at least you attempted it. But I see that this part, I can also see that when I contribute and give you ideas, you will be able to do better. This partnership is growing. So with the ideas, we start uncomplicating business complexity, clinical complexity, or technical complexity. So by that talking, certain uncomplication happens. So solution ease is there. Again, going back to UI UX.
So UI UX is the key. And when we think of UI UX,
that's why you people use it.
But there's another misconception here, or at least altered conception. I won't say misconception. People think UI UX is for patient, but you clearly said this has to be palatable to the stakeholders.
All stakeholders.
Otherwise, it will not work.
Each person, it is like beauty is in thy beholder's eye.
Right.
Each person is seeing what they want to see from their vantage point. So nurse means you are looking at what is the nursing workflow, what is top of their mind, and is it getting addressed? Doctor, alerts, reminders, is it getting addressed? Patient, is he getting something in understandable format? Management, are they seeing the numbers and the flow and the workflow to the enhancing that they are able to serve the supply chain of the healthcare delivery? External governance stakeholders, are they seeing the red flags of the governance or the green channels of the governance so that they know that it is running with certain degree of comfort? So each is seeing from their vantage point, the collective sum of which is the healthcare delivery ecosystem.
Understood. But let me ask you a slightly controversial question. You think enough attention is being paid to the UI UX today?
Today, attention is getting paid to the bazookas of the words of technology.
Which is the famous 2-letter word that every podcast has to have it.
If I don't use those words, you will question my credentials as technical.
But do we really need it? I mean, see the way you're explaining to me.
You need, that's what I'm saying. Each is a tool. So this is not about I need something, I don't need something. It's a sum total of all of this contributing to the outcome.
Correct.
Each has a degree of contribution.
Correct.
And yes, we can get innovative about how each can get used. So this is not about, I'm not picking sides on any of them. All of them are required. And we are focusing on the zones of excellence.
Which is good.
Again, it's not about picking sides. If you argue with me, are you telling me excellence is not required, innovation is not required? It's an unwanted argument that I don't want to fall prey into it. That is not what you're talking of. I'm just saying you have to focus in the right quantums of it. At the same time saying, no, I'm not going to talk about AI, ML ever in my life. I'm only going to focus on this. Again, you're taking one leftist stand versus a rightist stand. No. I'm saying be a generalist. Consider everything in the right quantums of what we need to deliver what we need.
So when you say Pareto, which I love Pareto because it solves a lot of things. You're saying talk about AI, talk about whatever quantum or whatever generative AI, but 80% of your job is consistency.
Or talk about AI to deliver that 80% consistency.
Don't go swing for the fences.
Yes. Say, okay, I'm going to use AI, I'm going to use ML, I'm going to use learned algorithm and simplify the 80%. Wow.
That will be great.
That's again, and I'm going back to evidence-based algorithms, automated clinical practice guidelines.
I'll come to automation because that is something I like. And I'm not, when I say automation, I don't mean AI. Simple, rule-based,
Yes.
scenario-based automation. So when you evaluate healthcare organizations, how much importance do you give to automation, even if it's a simple automation, for clinical and administrative tasks? How important is it that the organization has figured it out?
Automation is very important. Why is it important? I just told you that we need to do 25 by 7. I just told
25 by 8.
Sorry, 25 by 8. 25 by 8 I want. Right?
Right.
And then I want it omnipresent. I want it at my speed of thought. Okay. All this I thought. And none of what I told just now is humanly possible. So that means you need some degree of surety around it. That degree of surety comes with automation, because as a human being, and let's say an 8-hour day, I get tired at some logical points in time.
Correct.
And I have my own mood swings of good days and bad days. Typical human this thing. And expecting this to be superhuman at all points in time and saying that I need to be smiling at you and this person was frowning at me and thereby giving bad service. I'm also the same human being, and while I shouldn't have delivered that to you. But how do I ensure? So this is where you get to levels of automation. Simple things, lab automation. That means we will not make mistakes with our vial. We will not make mistakes with identifying the patient, and it will be touch-free. That means the infection will not go from the finger to the thing and thereby misses in terms of dropping the vial and thereby destroying the sample will be lost. I'm just saying small things, nothing. The benefits are far greater. I'm just giving very elementary benefits. All of that is there. So that is automation. So making sure, let's get into so many invoices are submitted. Invoices are automated so that this thing, so you don't make mistakes. You don't make mistakes with its matching to the PO, the governance of the 3-way matching, the delays in the payment terms, the wrong taxes being deposited and thereby inefficiency, and which takes a long amount of time.
Correct.
Keeping your supply partners waiting for payments, us not accruing that into the books. All these are small, typical automation things. Leads to so much degree of efficiency.
Correct.
Removes so much of friction in the system and the blood. All this. So automation ensures that an organization is consistent in delivery and thereby is graduating towards those models of excellence that can be delivered. That is your automation is your pathway to achieving excellence. So automation is very important. It is not about how stylish that automation is. It can be simple, but it is solving a problem and it is trustworthy, all-weather solution. That's all.
So the theme is very clear for you. I mean, at least what I'm gathering out of this information and our discussion is consistency is number 1, 24/8 is number 2, and clinical excellence
25/8.
25. Did I say 24 again? I made the mistake this time. 25/8 and clinical excellence.
Correct.
And those 4 pillars. So automation is very important. It is not required to be stylish as long as it gets the job done consistently.
All weather, so that it caters to that scenario, and we don't need to worry about it. Because if that makes a mistake and that causes inefficiency in the system, already the system is under pressure.
One more pressure.
You're spoiling it.
Correct.
Make sure.
And some of the use cases you give, AR is I think a big issue with most hospitals. Payables also.
Exactly.
Right.
So, accuracy of supply chain, the volumes that you're dealing with in that.
Correct. SKUs.
So many
20,000,
between
30,000
medical
SKUs.
items, non-medical items. So many of these are there, and thereby the lapses of quality because of lack of oversight, all those can be completely eliminated, and all this will add to that fundamental horizontal of surety of care and thereby clinical. See, your clinical outcomes is built on all top of this.
Correct.
When they are delivering a rock solid base, your clinical outcomes is a sure guarantee.
Correct. And also, the most interesting part that I see about automation, and I led automation for a very long time. Most of our processes are designed around human beings and shifts.
Correct.
You have this 888 shift or whatever kind of shift.
Correct.
And the beauty of automation is that it doesn't require a shift. It can run almost 22 hours a day.
And it can help the person do what they are good at and remove the mundane work from them.
Correct.
So
Nobody's gotten around to that.
This is not about reducing workforce and all that. This is about getting the workforce to do what they do best, and the mundane part of it simplify so that they can excel at what they can do. This is not, again, I don't want to get into this controversy. Are you talking about removing workforce, reducing job? Unnecessarily, we are getting ourselves into unwanted controversies where we have so much to deliver and so less people to deliver to the population that is there. We have to serve a planet of 1 billion people with such short talent. So this is not about eliminating jobs, but this is about making those jobs effective and thereby deliver to the larger population that is expecting it, which you are currently not able to do.
Absolutely. So I agree with everything you say, but now you might wonder where am I going with this? So if you look forward, say 2030, and I hate these projections because none of us got 2020 right? None of us said that we'll be locked indoors.
The longest DR sequence that we ever had.
But if you look at from an investment point of view, from a healthcare technology point of view, if you look at some of these things that are coming up, AI is definitely one. Now I've said it, so hopefully people will think we are intelligent because both of us said AI a couple of times. Predictive operations is another one where I can predict some of these things, or adding some intelligence to automation, or what I call as workflow intelligence.
Correct.
So, in your opinion, and if you had to look forward to 2030, which of these or something else will create maximum value from a valuation perspective?
One is point of service, point of work process, intelligence and simplifications.
So more like workflow intelligence.
Workflow intelligence, workflow automation, point of care, so that it simplifies the complexity of workflows and doesn't dilute it.
Correct.
That is one thing that will go big. The second part is everybody is looking to also understand predictions. So that means some level of prescriptive and predictive algorithms, so that for that corresponding work process, not limited to clinical. So not
Any
to
workflow.
imply that this is only about clinical diagnosis, so prescriptive and predictive algorithms, when they enable it, you have a better view into how this is going to pan out.
Right.
Which in larger organization terms talks about profitability and reduction in losses and thereby better financial health. Such like technologies I think will do a lot, and those that are definitely going to add to bottom line efficiency, clinical or operational. That is going to be
big.
is where you're going to be able, because this is what is going to enable you to deliver to a larger. See, you are looking to acquire more customers, and how are you going to deliver? If you are bottleneck choked on your delivery, conveyor belt, how are you going to deliver to? So let's say magically I have acquired so many more customers. Your delivery channel is weak, so you're going to only irritate your new customers and spoil your brand and slump down, rather than convert those new acquisitions into delight.
Absolutely.
So such like operational efficiency will see the light of the day.
We'll see. One other, and we've had a lot of debates, actually more than debates, you helped me out many times when we had to calculate a size, and we used to always go with that rule of thumb, 2% and all that. Now the budgets for all of these traditionally come from the organization, right? And maybe supported by business units.
Correct.
But do you see technology budget, more or less technology investments, not so much budget, shared equally between business functions?
Today, technology budgets are becoming organizational initiative budgets, where the tool for that initiative is technology. So an organization saying that it is going to do these initiatives, it's going to go in this direction, and the method that it is going to use for that, the tools and techniques, is called technology.
Understood.
Gone are the time where technology teams prepare one budget in an isolation and add it to all. So every department prepares a budget in isolation. The sum total of the budget is the organization budget. Was a very, very 10-15 year old story. Today, budgets are prepared in aggregation. You sit down, discuss initiatives. You discuss the method to that initiative, the methodology to the initiative, method and methodology, both. And thereby you invest in people, process, technology. Sum total of which is a business entity moving forward. So it is, your budgets are looked at as people, process and technology for the initiative of where you're going. Again, run the business, grow the business. Because what you are running currently has to run smoothly without hiccups. So that is how budgets are made, not as the erstwhile way of each department coming up with their number, sum total of which is there.
Wish list. No. So that 2%, which we normally take in healthcare,
I think it's slowly fading out.
It's fading out, right? That is more or less to run.
I think
you can't do so much. Okay. So now that we are here in 2026 beginning, luckily we are at the beginning, and suppose some CEO or a CTO of an organization or a founder who's building something on technology and healthcare, what can they do to ensure that whatever the digital roadmap they have, technology roadmap they have, that strengthens their organizational investment thesis? Because at the end of the day, it's all about valuations. And what can they do from now in the next 18 months? Because some of the things you've said are very critical, but they take time, building the DNA. But what can these guys do now, from now on?
See, two parts. One is, are they solving a problem? Sometimes solving a problem starts ending up in a very visionary state and not into actual. So are you solving a problem? And are you solving a problem in real terms where you are able to necessarily measure the impact on a scale basis, not impact on a proof of concept basis?
Correct.
So scale is important. So anybody looking to make investments and scale their organization will have to know, are you solving a problem, and are you solving it to scale, and is this measurable? With this golden triangle,
solving a problem, solving at scale, and is it measurable?
If I put this as a triangle and try to bring that triangle, make all the three vertices coincide, that is what you should be looking at.
Or make it an equilateral triangle.
I am not, no, I want them to come close to each other, because equilateral, each will be in their own equidistant from the other. No, I want everybody to
converge.
So I want the triangle to become a point.
Oh, wow.
I want the triangle to now shrink to, that means that each is holding the other person and moving towards without breaking the triangle.
What are the 3 points again? Sorry.
Are you solving a problem? Are you solving a problem to
at
scale? And are there metrics to measure that the problem is solved?
Brilliant.
These three will have to be addressed, because otherwise you get into a very esoteric problem statement, which sometimes is not measurable. So the outcomes are, but you feel very gratified that you are trying to, and health again brings out a lot of emotion and personal stories and all that, and you start drifting towards that thing, and you've forgotten the scale and whether it is really solving a problem or not.
Correct. Because sometimes what happens is, Arvind, if you're not doing it at scale, then it becomes an
it's
individual.
It's a proof of concept. Individually it is possible.
So there are longevity, people who've done longevity for themselves.
Then
it may not work for us.
It's
right?
not a scale thing.
Yeah.
So
scale.
It needs to be. So again, I go back to the wonderful thing that all of us benefited out of is the vaccine from the COVID time.
COVID time, right?
So, while yes, there are lots of unfortunate thing about it today, which it's unfortunate that conversations are happening, but at a larger pace for the humanity, it served the scale, the purpose, and the impact.
Correct.
So there was a vision, there was a scale, and there was a measurability that the thing is not proliferating further. That is the measure. You give it, proliferation or repeat attack on the same human body is not causing that sort of a damage. And there is a vision that how do we get rid of this virus that is affecting the entire planet.
Correct.
So see all of this together. I think that's a good example all of us should be learning from.
Correct.
And it becomes so strict that now that 3 parts has now become a point because all of them have come together.
So Arvind, I totally agree with you. Interestingly, 2 days ago, I was reading this article in the newspaper, and our cervical cancer detection rates, the detected cases actually down 3%, which shows and right now the government has not even mandated HPV, right? They have not Gardasil or whichever brand, they have not mandated it. But the awareness has spread, and 3% we are down, which is what you were describing.
See,
right?
it's proven. That is where you give the vaccine to the adolescent girls in the right time. Clearly, there is a scientific benefit. So you have a vision for the problem, you have a scale for the problem, and you have the metrics by which you can measure it. All 3 come together. You're doing so. It's not merely about being passionate about a problem. You've got to be passionate about the problem and be a realist about finding a solution to the problem and finding whether there is progress towards solution finding or not, and whether the solution is working towards the problem statement.
Correct.
Not just progress towards it. So at some point in time, yes, you need to be a futurist and a realist at the same time simultaneously.
Futurist and a realist, huh?
Both you have to be. You have to be both. It's because if you start accepting reality, then innovation is thrown out of the door. You get too much into innovation, you forget the reason why a problem exists, and you start seeing which has no fitment towards reality. While the solution may be viable, it may be too ahead of its terms, so thereby you are not able to put it to ground reality. So all of that put together is how you need to look at it. I think cervical cancer is a beautiful thing in terms of we're definitely seeing lesser. People are taking the vaccine seriously. They're putting it on time. The outcomes are measurable. Over the next many years, many ladies will be spared from that disease, which is good for society.
Correct.
Good for the growth of a nation also, because at an age where they should be delivering outcomes, they are not bitten by illness.
But so vaccine is one point. I agree with you. But vaccine is not so much healthcare. It is, of course, more biologics.
Vaccine is an example that I was saying.
If I I agree. Of course, it's the ecosystem and everybody, and somebody has to inject that vaccine. That has to be a hospital or a nurse. But if I put that same context into healthcare, what would be a good example of something like this?
See, you look at it in terms of these days. Take a thing of the online appointments. Online appointments, now you're seeing the visibility of doctors, the time slots. Earlier, you'll come to a hospital indefinitely, wait, you don't know what the doctor is doing. The doctor himself, he's like delaying on purpose. He's got a schedule, he's got to go on IP rounds, he's got to finish his surgeries, he's got to look at his other repeat patients who need follow-up, and then he's got to look at the other patients, and there is no predictability around it. Now you're able to bring some structure. I'm just talking something very basic.
No, that is an excellent idea.
And
excellent example.
You're seeing, okay, if I go, still it can be better. We all still complain about wait times and all that. I'm not trying to say the problem is solved, but just look at the graduation of how we are seeing. And now on this, you see we are putting different models of innovation to make all of this look better. So reducing wait time was one, but now we are becoming innovative. There is a reality to the problem. You know what is the crowd. you know what is the service capacity of the institution. It's not like I can start appointments from 6 o'clock and go right up to 10 o'clock in the night. There is poor doctor has to also, he's human. He can't fall flat.
Right.
Seeing patients, he can't get exhausted.
But I totally relate to it. I'll tell you my own anecdote. At the hospital, I don't want to mention them. I tried looking for an appointment there because I usually go there, and there was no way to take an online appointment. Okay, and out of curiosity, I went to another hospital, which is Sakra, which is where I'm stuck now because I keep going there. The only reason I chose the hospital was because the way to get the appointment was very easy.
You demonstrated a convenience.
Correct.
Definitely great hospital with good clinical outcomes. Now the stickiness has increased.
Correct.
So see that we had a problem, found a solution, it generated value. We were able to measure it because we felt that we were getting what we
Correct.
want when we want.
Correct.
And it is repeatable also. It's not just one time you got an appointment. Every time, so it seems to be consistent.
Yeah.
So that means that this problem has, so this is an example of understanding the reality, putting some innovation around it, bringing it together and still ensuring that it is serving that population. It's not ahead of its times. It's not too late also. So this is where you're looking at
Correct.
an example of where it works. We can do far better.
No,
we
I
can
agree
do
with
far
you.
better. But we are realizing the potential.
And the interesting thing about the online appointment which I booked, not only was it smooth, the doctor I consulted was also a great doctor.
Correct.
And the operations, right? And I think they have something to do with Toyota because CCOM is the owner and Toyota is
Culture
involved.
of efficiency.
That culture of efficiency, which is where I see from automobile to Toyota to
you're
this.
learning from the other industries
Correct.
and not reliving. See, you learn that the essence we took from the manufacturing and put that lean Six Sigma concepts into removing waste in healthcare.
Correct.
So now again, I'm not comparing it to an automotive. So if you ask me, is car making equal to healthcare? Again, frivolous arguments. But
Things we can learn.
you remove the waste, enhance the process efficiency, and healthcare desperately needs that.
Correct.
So all this, I think, adds to a lot of it, and this is where that innovation comes into place. This to me is disruption,
Correct.
which is good.
Correct.
This is
You're doing
welcome
something
disruption.
better than others.
Welcome disruption, and in a way, it is challenging us. It is forcing us not to stick to the norm.
Correct.
So that old 7-Up ad, Fido Dido, normal is boring. Normal is boring. Again, I know some of these ads we quote, our age will be also
Very
easily
apparent.
predicted.
So I will pretend as if I've never heard of this.
So, very easily predicted. But normal is boring. So it challenges you, and it challenges you to do better.
Correct.
And better because that better is in the aspiration of the consumer.
Correct.
The stakeholder is aspiring for it. So
Correct.
it's all coming together. So this sort of disruption always should happen, should consistently happen, continuously happen.
See, it's brilliant. The two examples we've taken for this roadmap. One was a vaccine, which is R&D, IP, heavy investments,
The scale to time.
scale. And then the other is online appointments, which is a much cheaper, quick intervention, but again, very tricky.
And now it's become like a de facto.
De facto, right? But now, can I get it right? 25 by 8.
Exactly.
The online appointment.
Because you want it, and you want it at the same quality. And in a way, with the resource constraints that doctors may not be available all that time in a day, but you still want to give them, and you don't want to downgrade the clinical acumen there and still make it happen.
So irrespective, so coming back to the conclusion of this, irrespective of who's the investor, or who's investing, what are the parameters you choose to evaluate healthcare companies, you're just looking for consistency. And
Delivering outcomes all the time, every time, so that each stakeholder's requirements are well met.
correct.
Patient being the most important part, the medical professional, the largest part of the ecosystem making to happen, and the entire ecosystem in terms of the hospital administration, the support staff, the ancillary, the other aspects of governance, everything, all consistently delivering the outcomes all the time, every time, not diminishing on any of the excellence metrics.
Understood.
That's not a subject for debate and compromise.
Correct. So what is if you had to give one piece of advice to either young founders or, relatively younger colleagues of ours who are getting into technology, healthcare technology, what's your one piece of advice as an investor? What will you give them?
It's not about the beauty of the technology. It is about whether the technology is actually able to sustain and the technology is able to solve the problem.
Right.
Solve the problem to the scale and be sustainable.
Right.
So you've got to focus on that. It is not the aura of the technology.
Understood.
You shouldn't get lost in the aura of technology. Technology is very nice, very useful, very effective, but don't get lost in its beauty. Focus on the problem and not on the technology.
Correct. And you're speaking this because you have the wisdom. I always, in retrospect, forget that you worked in the US, you were at Henry Ford, then you are evaluating hospitals across Asia Pac. And you recently came out with a report also, right?
Yes.
On cybersecurity
with
and
DSCI and HIMSS.
So what you're saying is keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Ensure that you're solving for what you're trying to do. Solving again is a very big word, very aspirational word. But try to get to as much as possible so that we can really, eliminate many of the problem irritants. Wish we can solve. Solve is a beautiful word. It's like cure. We want to do it, but yeah, we have limitations. But so try to maximize that part of it.
Correct.
Don't compromise on quality.
Great. So that's your final. This is advice for all of you. Keep it simple. And Arvind is an eloquent speaker. You can make that out, and he's got a lot of stories from what you do at HIMSS, and I always reach out to him whenever I have some foundational questions, and he's always there to talk to me. So Arvind, thank you once again. I think this is going to be very, very useful, because I had gone into this discussion with a different mindset. I am coming out with a different mindset right now.
As long as we are able to finally channelize, because remember one thing, whatever we make today, we are the people who are going to consume this healthcare.
Yeah,
so
I
just
agree.
do it for the selfish reason that it's going to be applicable back to us. So just do it for that.
So thank you once again, and
thank you,
it was great having you. And
Pleasure.
hopefully we will see a lot more things to come from Indian healthcare.
Definitely, yes.
And all the best for your new initiatives that you're taking on. We discussed quite a few.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right.